You as a persona, as your identity and your substance, you're uniquely you. Everything that makes you who you are as a person, as a soul on this earth, that is not defined by your body. And the fact that people cling to their body as their identity is a great source of fear and stress and emotional pain today, because we think we need to look forever young. Your body is a sacred vessel because it's actually your home. Your body is the sacred vehicle you live in. And this is why it's the most important thing you can ever invest in and take care of, because it's crucial to your health and your experience in life. Hi, Camilla here. Before we dive into the podcast, just a quick note to personally invite you to come and check out my free training on how to finally end weight loss struggles, binge and emotional eating, and feeling like a failure once and for all. Over the years, my work has grown into a world-changing riot where we reframe how we see ourselves as a failure for trying to play the game of the diet culture. It's time to break free from being the good girl, the weight loss struggles, binge and emotional eating, impossible aesthetic ideals, negative body image, self-sabotaging patterns, never feeling good enough, and often feeling like a failure. It's time to create a new paradigm where we enjoy a diet-free, binge-free, stress-free, slower, and more intentional and joyful way of life while you feel good about yourself and your body along the way.
This is so true. I think that anyone that has struggles with food, body, and challenges with eating should have Camilla's program on prescription.
You know, after the first evening listening to Camilla's lectures, I understood why I was always failing my diets. It completely shocked me how accurately she could describe everything that I had been struggling with.
Check out the free training at camillasage.com. Now, let's go into the Diet Riot. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of the Diet Riot. Today, we're going to talk about your body and your body image. However, it's not in a way you might expect, because the fact is that you are actually not your body, but in the same time you are. So that's kind of contradictory, right? But it depends on how we approach things. It depends if we look at things the right way, and very often we get the wrong impression and we draw the wrong conclusions because we are looking at a topic like our body based on a one-dimensional view when it's actually quite multidimensional. So I know that you've heard and read countless of times that you should love your body no matter what, right? But why is that so freaking hard? Because your relationship with your own body can be a really hard one to manage and navigate after years of self-shaming, self-loathing, having a very negative body image, doing dieting and wanting to create change and lose weight because the body you have for some reason is perceived as wrong compared to the ideals we are presented with. And many of my clients can find it so hard to accept and love their body while working on themselves to optimize their health, to optimize their vitality, and also losing weight. And I always tell them that their body is not who they are. However, the body is a key aspect in how we move through life. But when we have experienced life and when we have lived life in a certain way for quite some time, our body is only a representation of how they have lived up to this point. And if someone is actually working on improving themselves in the form of changing habits, optimizing their health, getting more energy and more vitality into their not only experience of life, but their whole being, then they can actually be creating change right now, and they're already doing it, but their body just needs some support and time, tender love and care to catch up with the changes. With this new way they are living, being a representation of who they are now, that is where they focus, and that is where they look for the proof if they have changed, not in the aesthetic looks of the body, which is never static anyways, because we are aging as we move through life. We are changing in different seasons of life, especially as women. Not only within different phases of our life, but also just within the month, because we are cyclical beings. We have a cycle and our body changes due to that as well. But so many women are actually quite terrified of moving into this mentality of loving and accepting themselves, because they are afraid that they won't have the motivation then to actually go after the things they want, and thinking they won't wanting to change anymore. But the truth is actually quite opposite. Because when we come from the right place and doing the right things for ourselves without keep on flogging ourselves with shaming and negative self-talk, the process becomes positive and rewarding. Because without the negative and painful mindset, every step of the journey is rewarding, because it takes us closer to our goal and we feel like we're already living as the person we want to be. Here and now, it's already here, it's happening. You're creating proof every second of every day as you're moving forward in this way. And this is so true what we say in the field of human development. We can't think our way into right acting, but we can act our way into right thinking. And the thing is that when we are used to shame ourselves, if we have had years behind us where we have done this, that will affect our whole experience of life in a very certain way. And this is quite negative, but we need to have some background to really get into this mindset and this way of thoughts. Because so many people can have a lot of struggle to get their head around the fact that if they actually move into being positive and loving toward themselves, then they think they won't be able to lose weight, or they won't bother optimizing their health. And therefore, they will never feel like themselves. They will never change. They will never like the person looking back at them in the mirror, and so on. They will never feel that the person in the mirror are matching the person they feel like on the inside. But coming from a place of emotional fitness and doing the right things to take care of yourself, optimizing your health and losing weight, that will actually only fuel your process so you can reach it even faster, because you avoid having like one step forward and two step back all the time with this flogging based on negative fuel and negative emotions and being mean to yourself. So imagine having peace of mind, ease, and loving the process without the shame, without the disgust, without everything negative aimed toward your body. In this way, you can actually love the process toward reaching your goal, because it's so rewarding. Not only do you feel like you're already living it, it's already here, it is happening, but in the same time, you feel it's easy, because you don't have the internal pressure anymore, and you're not afraid of not making it anymore, because you know you're already doing it. Your body just needs time to catch up. And shaming ourselves and doing perfectionism, procrastination, being rigid and having an extreme need for control, all of these things only add fuel to the fire of fear of not making it, which makes the whole thing a struggle area in your life, filled with fear of not ever reaching your goals, and in the same time, a really big fear of being a failure, and so on. But when we release this and move into a different mindset, things shift. So coming from a different place without the shaming, without the negativity and fear, that will actually help you succeed. So it's not the other way around. It's not that if you actually turn into enjoying and loving the process and doing the right things for the right reasons, you won't be interested in changing anymore. It's quite the opposite. You will actually be so much more confident, so much more resilient, so much more motivated, and you will move forward so much faster, because again, you won't have all of these one step forward and two steps back all the time. You won't have the same level of fuck it moments. You won't have the on the wagon, off the wagon mentality and the all or nothing mentality, and so on. But to create this shift toward your body, it can be hard to let go of the feeling of not being right or not being good enough in our own body. Because we have used years of shaming ourselves and being disconnected to our body, which has led us to merging our self-worth, the fact that we are considered good enough in our own eyes and in the eyes of others, with our body, together with our body. But the fact is, you are not your body. And I'll give you an example here, which I think is a mindfuck, but it kind of explains my point here. So bear with me. We're going to have some fun. So this is actually an example of Michael Singer. So let me explain this to you. Let's say I have developed the perfect anesthesia and you were completely awake, totally relaxed. You couldn't feel a thing from your neck down. And now you're lying on a table, like a surgery table, an operation table. But I have placed a curtain in front of your face, like over your neck. So you can't see anything from your face down. It's just this cloth, this curtain hanging from the ceiling. And you can't feel anything, you can't hear anything, and you have no idea what's going on behind the curtain because this is silent surgery. And you can't see any part of your body. So let's say you and me, we had a wonderful conversation, a really deep and meaningful one. And it was so fun and so joyful. And you were just loving talking with me and we had the best time. And while we were talking, someone behind the curtain removes one of your feet, your whole foot, your whole leg. But you don't notice anything. And you have no idea what's happening because you can't hear it and you can't feel it. And you can't feel them working on your body either. You're completely paralyzed from your neck down. And you're only focused on me, having a wonderful conversation and being like in a really good mood, having best time in this conversation with me. So would you say that you're any less you because of what just happened? The fact that you lost a leg? No, because in this very moment, you don't know you've lost a leg. You're completely ignorant to the fact that you have lost a leg. And per now, it doesn't affect who you are. It doesn't affect your identity. It doesn't affect how you think about yourself. And it doesn't affect your view on life and what's possible for you. So let's take this a few steps further. And while you and me are having this wonderful, amazing, inspiring, and activating conversation, the person behind the curtain also removes the other leg and actually one of your arms. But you're still completely ignorant to the fact that you have lost both of your legs and one of your arms, and you are completely happy. You're inspired, you're joyful, you are grateful for the wonderful conversation we share, and you just love having me in your life. And you love the fact that I'm so interested in you and that I ask interesting questions and that I'm cheeky and we laugh. And yeah, this is just fun. This is just joy. This is just life and feeling alive. But how could this be? How could you still feel like this in the conversation with me when the fact is you have actually lost both of your legs and one of your arms? This is because in this scenario, you don't merge who you are as a person in your experience in this beautiful moment you and me share in this conversation. You don't merge that with your body. You are completely focused on other things. The wonderful conversation with me and everything you think about and everything you feel and everything you experience and everything you're joyful for and all the things you're thinking about the future because of this. So in this example, you know nothing about what changes has occurred with your body. You don't know anything about how this will, as a matter of fact, severely affect your life. Because as long as you didn't know, that had nothing to say in the moment when you were engaging as you in essence in the conversation with me, in this inspiring and joyful conversation. You only felt loved, seen, inspired, heard, and in connection with me because we had a really good talk, right? So why is this? Because in your core, you are not your body. You are you and the substance in you. But your body has nothing to do with your personality in this matter, in the substance of you. So who were you when you were looking out your eyes at 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, and 40 years old? Were you the same in your substance, in your interests, in your moods, in your attitude, in your sassiness, or in your willpower, or in your stamina or strength? When you look back and you try to look out of your own eyes at 20 years, 30 years old, were you the same person with the same interests? Of course, not the same as a matter of regarding experience in life, but you were still you. So it's just that you're a bit more experienced now, and it's the fact that your body has changed. But you are not your body. You as a persona, as your identity and your substance, you're uniquely you. Everything that makes you who you are as a person, as a soul on this earth, that is not defined by your body. And the fact that people cling to their body as their identity is a great source of fear and stress and emotional pain today, because we think we need to look forever young, we need to fit an ideal, but our body is ever changing. It's cyclical, it's seasonal, it's all the things. We're never meant to stay the same. Because your body, including your brain, is only the vessel taking you in your substance and your consciousness through life. And yeah, that is a vessel we need to tend to. Your body is a sacred vessel because it's actually your home. Your body is the sacred vehicle you live in. And this is why it's the most important thing you can ever invest in and take care of, because it's crucial to your health and your experience in life. And I very often talk about this regarding the body, because every single day, like up until this point, I've said you're not your body, but still you are your body, because that is the vessel you live in. And that is the vessel that takes you through life. And it's actually also the key for your experience of life. And this is what I want to explain to you now, because if we feel shit in our body, that affects our mood, because constantly our brain and our body is communicating subconsciously. So if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't sleep enough, you don't take care, you don't rest enough, you don't eat well, you don't move your body, you're kind of stressed out all the time, etc., you will feel like shit in your body, especially also if you eat a lot of things that aren't healthy for you, if you binge an emotional eat. So you will feel really shitty because your body isn't taking care of the best way you can and the way it needs to be taken care of. So it's literally sending you signals to your brain subconsciously of how it's feeling. And these signals, this information passed on from the body to the brain, is interpreted by the subconscious brain. So from there, our thoughts come. So we give that information a meaning on a subconscious level. From there, our emotions come. So if we basically have a suboptimal state in our physical body, this will give us negative emotions. And we will feel like shit, and we will feel sad and like it's a struggle and not satisfied, etc. By the way, our emotions is equal to our mood. And over time, our mood turns into our personality. And our personality really affects how we see the world. So our personality creates our personal reality. So the fact that you feel like shit in your body, if you feel like shit in your body, and then you have negative emotions, you get a bad mood, you get a negative mindset, and you get a bad relationship to your life. And you also feel life being really hard and shitty. And that your whole personal reality is just like gray and it's a struggle and it's just like the next, and everything is just a hustle all the time, you know? We need to take this into consideration, because when I say you're not your body, it doesn't mean you don't have to take care. It doesn't mean you don't have to care. We are our body as well, because life happens in the body. And that is key, because it's the foundation of our whole experience of life. But your body is ever changing because we're aging. And you are not your body. You are not defined by some specific standardized ideal from society or from social media, whatever. You are you. And the fact that you are now older than you once were, and you might look differently than you once did, that only means you are a more experienced and wiser version of yourself, but you're still you in your substance. And it's crucial to learn this shift and how we look at ourselves, and so that we will come to a place where we once again can love and accept ourselves, and in the same time want to take care and optimize our health, our body, our vitality, our energy, and maybe also markers for health. If that is weight loss, so be it, it's fine, but do it for the right reasons. Because we need to separate our worth from our body and starting to connect with who we are on the inside, because this is the key to move forward as the person you are on the inside, who's already living that life, loving the process of taking care, doing the right things for the right reasons, and creating change from the right place and for the right reasons. So this will not only make the process more joyful, it will literally also fuel the process and the creations that come from it, because this will help you create a life in alignment with a deep sense of purpose inside of you. Not only tailoring life in your terms, but this will give you the results you want because you find a way that fits you, that you love, and in the same time you tend to yourself and your body as the sacred vessel it is that really defines your experience of life. And when we get all these pieces in place, the whole world shifts. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Talk soon. Thank you for listening today. I'm so grateful for you being here. If you'd like to explore more into these topics, then please hit subscribe. And if you love this podcast, leaving a review or a 5-star rating really helps other women finding it too. And if you know anyone that would benefit greatly from listening to this podcast, then please share it with them. You can find more information about ways to work with me and my free training in the show notes. Thanks for listening to The Diet Riot.